What's up, guys? Welcome to season 3, episode ocho of the Pod of Ages, the premier podcast from some goated silver analysts. I am Paradox Pope, and with me always is Doomfunk. How are you feeling today, sir?
I've been feeling like shit for the past couple days, to be perfectly honest. So my apologies to everyone in advance. If I cough, I will try to mute myself pretty quickly if I'm going to cough.
It'll be okay, I'm sure. We don't have too long to suffer through for another off-season episode as we wind down season 3 of the old pod. Actually have a proper, completion to the season, which would be nice, actually wrap one up all the way through, put a cap on it, a little cherry on top.
Yeah, last one we do should be episode 9 in about 2 weeks' time. Actually, about 2 weeks' time. That's Christmas fucking Eve.
Yeah, so it'll probably be, maybe we do it a little early before Christmas, and that's the last one for the year or something, or we do right after, one of the two.
Yeah, either or. I mean, I work. So those of you that are wondering why aren't they higher ranked? Why aren't they putting out more content? Because we both work full-time jobs. So
Is what it is. Whenever you can't be without the grind forever anymore,
So speaking of higher ranks, I am really looking forward to season 14 and the map changes, the item changes, and figuring out what works best and doing a actual climb. I'm gonna do what every fucking coach on the internet says. I have narrowed my champion pool down to 3 champions. I got a 4th and a 5th in there if need be that I am somewhat proficient on. But I'm gonna do that. I'm going to only play in 3-game blocks, then a break. I'm going to do VOD reviews, and I will try to do those live. I'm gonna try to stream a lot next year. So those will be live on my Twitch. Some VOD reviews, some games, almost every evening, for a couple hours.
And we'll do some duo QN for laughs and suffering with friends. Because we all know that's what NA solo queue is at some points in time, aka all the time. 60% of the time, all the time. You know what I'm saying? That is NA solo queue for sure. But I see you've been enjoying the Viego a little bit. He's definitely a really fun champion to play, especially once you start getting into resets and combos and just linking new spells and kits together in ways that in these specific moments feel really fun. I played a Viego game with Dilly last night. He actually came out of nowhere and played a few games, and I was into a mid Kiana. And ooh, that is a really fun kit to pick up for 2 rotations before you ult out of it. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I played a good bit of Kiana. I know how 90% of the champions work. The only reason why I haven't picked up Ivern, I know he's very strong, is I just don't understand how his clear works. No one's explained it to me. I haven't looked up any videos, so I've done 0 research.
Yeah, Ivern is his own animal for sure. You have to know how to play Ivern and learn how to play Ivern. It's not learning how to play jungle or anything else.
Yeah, so I figured I'd learn how to play jungle, and then if that comes around later on in it, once I am getting to higher rank and I'm not so focused on the climbing anymore, and I'm at a rank that I'm enjoying the games in, a whole nother animal.
Just become a crazy Ivern main. That'd be really funny. Grow out your beard even more, put some twigs in it. Become one with the forest so you understand the tree man.
I mean, right now I look like I could be a Maokai main.
No, that's true.
Speaking of Maokai mains, I did cast, I know this is a little ADHD, but I did cast some games last night of just a little shout out to Avarice In-House. Casted their games last night.
And you guys have cast coming up tomorrow, right?
Yeah, tomorrow is with Mystic Cats, a newer small org that's looking to stream their scrims. I'll be streaming their Diamond Team scrims tomorrow night. And I was streaming for CCG Esports, but they are knocked out of the Aegis League. They got knocked out by Peach Cats. I casted that game. It was a best of 5. They got 3-0'd. It was sad.
Oh, that's too bad. You probably would have had a lot more fun if you had at least a fourth game to start talking about like different ideas during. I feel like if you just get 3-0, by the time the third game comes on, you just kind of feel it. It's trying hard to keep the hype.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to keep that, but I didn't get the same feedback that you gave me, my girlfriend gave me, which was that I was kind of monotone. So I worked on it last night, even though I was sick as all fuck, trying to match the tone of the play-by-play and get a bit more hype and get a bit more excited about plays happening. So that was fun. And we'll see how the Mystic Cat things go. They have some different production ideas. It's going to be their first production thing. So they're wanting the they don't have anybody who's doing production. They have the play-by-play caster who is also going to be observing and streaming the game, which happens a lot in these smaller things. But they also want to have 2 observers. I mean, both of us be separate observers. So we'll see if they change their mind about that or not, because that's just going to ruin the conversation.
Yeah, we'll see how that evolves if they're just starting off. It's probably subject to some changes at least.
Yeah. I've done what I can. I've agreed to do Mondays, so I will at least do my one Monday, and we'll see if my Mondays free up and we can do the podcast again on Mondays. At least until the next Aegis League starts back up.
Yeah, we'll see what season 4 starts. We'll have plenty of options. But as far as other tournaments at least happening, we did at least get a random nice little event yesterday, the day before recording, which is the 10th, being the Red Bull Invitational over in Europe.
Yeah, Red Bull's a league of their own.
Yes, sir. T1, the reigning world champions, facing off against a bunch of ERL teams and G2. And Heretics as well, which is not an ERL team anymore.
And KC is no longer an ERL team, but that was their ERL roster.
Yes, sir. Oh, man, if we could have seen, sadly, obviously not all the contracts of the ink is not dry, so to speak, on all of those deals, so that was not possible. But if we had gotten to see the new KC against T1 yesterday, man, that would have been great. I think Sakin was way better than I thought he would be.
He looks good.
Just general performance. I was worried that he might be a weak, points of that team, but he seems to be plenty great for a rookie. So, apparently he might have played in the LEC a few years ago, but I don't know the instance. I'm pretty sure it was
vaguely sounds right.
I want to say I heard that was a conversation in a different pod that he had shown at least once split before at some point, but don't quote me. I don't know. It could be the case, but I can't ratify.
Yeah, so because I only watched the games of Cadrill's quick his edited of his co-stream version of it, and I think I saw K Corp's game and I saw G2's game, which Yike actually had a pop-off performance on Belveth.
Yeah. Redeemed himself after Worlds.
He also didn't build Stridebreaker first. He built the Kraken Slayer.
Kraken first is definitely, I feel like, the solo queue build.
So I haven't played probably over 100 games of Belveth this past month.
Jesus, yeah. I actually believe you.
The Kraken is I've done the Blade first and I've done the Kraken first, and the Blade first is really good for if you're going to be ganking constantly. Just because of the slow and the sustain, it's really, really good. But ganking that much, you're gonna fall behind on your farm. So Belveth wants to just power farm, and then if there's an opportunity, go for it. So the Kraken first, like of the Noon Quiver first, really accelerates her farming to where she can be there for those opportunities. Her clear speed goes through the roof so quickly.
Yeah, 1300 back is the only downside, but it's not really that
Futures
much of a
market,
stretch.
baby.
Yeah, hell yeah, I got a believer here. I fucking love futures market. It is so broken.
Yeah, I stopped getting free boots and I started going with futures market just because, especially because like that Noon Quiver first back is so important.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
And on Viego, it lets me go spend 1,400 gold on a first back, which is
only
double
champion I don't
longsword and a Sheen.
Mhm.
That's a strong back.
I like to buy Sheen Kindle Gem because I really value the ability haste, especially, and I want to get to that portion of the spike as well. And I like health is never bad, obviously, but it's really just hitting that ability haste spike is why I love it so much. Because yeah, getting the with it's a 1500 G, you know, but with futures market, and if you get like one assist in there, it's pretty doable.
Yeah, so let's talk
Even
about
flashes
this Red Bull event
Let's do it
in
before we
kind of
hijack ourselves.
a more abstract concept.
Okay.
Because it was a huge event being put on by a huge third party. I mean, Red Bull has sponsored teams in the past, but I don't know if they've actually sponsored a League of Legends event or like headline sponsored. Like,
I think they sponsored leagues specifically before as well. Because I want to say that they had Red Bull things, you know, back when you were getting Bud Light Aced and all.
yeah, I mean, a sponsor in leagues, but nothing like headlining their name.
No, yeah, not an event in this way.
And it was a huge event with outstanding production quality. Even though it had a lot of the LEC broadcast talent on there, I think the on-screen assets looked way better than what Riot puts out.
Oh yeah, the LEC especially, like the LEC and the LCS have definitely dropped down on production value over the last few years. When you can tell with the spending being like tightened up around.
I mean,
you know,
the firing of Dash is all I want to say about the LCS production. Like, come the fuck on. Like, are you fucking for real? Like, was the man demanding too much fucking money? Is that what it was?
I mean, I think they just made an example of him. Ultimately, I'm sure there was a situation where, like like negotiations were happening as they always do, and I think Riot wanted to show that, like, all right, cool. If you guys really want to act like you're ready to, blow up to us, who do you guys think is invincible?
Yeah.
Who else wants to step out of line?
And so
I really think it's probably like that.
I think Riot could potentially make more money if Riot's in it for the money, which they definitely are. They're owned by Tencent. Tencent's in it for the money. If they want to make more money, they could, by licensing their game, like the name of their game, to companies or production companies or things that want to do bigger events. Or I where I'm getting at is I kind of want to see it go towards the Counter-Strike and the Dota 2 way of where you have you have majors and you have minors, and you accumulate points throughout the year, and then those teams with the most points get invited to Worlds. And you can still have it be region based as well. But I think Riot being in charge of their broadcast, I know I've said it on this show before, and I'll say it. I'll continue to say it because they don't fucking pay me. I think Riot is a detriment to their own fucking game.
Yeah, they definitely step on their own toes in a lot of these systems, but what they also desire outside of money is control. It's very clear, with how everything is, that they want to control all of the information. They want to control how much power every player has in the scene, so to speak. You know, not like pro player, but like, you know, people. And these are just different things that they're willing to sacrifice in order to maintain that control, because for a period of time that they were probably disillusioned, and you know, when they were still printing money effectively, that, you know, there's no reason to break your dissolutions. However, we've gotten to a point now that at least the community is mildly more aware that Riot, I hope, is less than, you know, the best person in the world. But you know, you go on Reddit, say Mark Merrill's an asshole, and you can still get downvoted to oblivion. So who is to say? But we'll see what they decide to do. I think they're definitely willing to work with some partners, depending on who you are, and do events like this, like they did the Mr. Beast thing, you know, last year. I want to say it was last year. And so clearly they have some people they're willing to play with, so to speak. And I I would like it if some of those tournaments could be, like you say, significance, mean something, and actually have renown. But I don't know. I think the best we can hope for is getting a third tournament, international tournament, on the yearly schedule, and it'd be a good tournament, not some like throwaway nonsense. And if we could get to the point that we have 3 tournaments that actually look pretty serious in a year, international, I think that'd be okay. Like MSI is already better than it used to be. Maybe one more tweak, and it could be basically as good as Worlds at the same scale, you know? So maybe they try and do that, because I do think having all this downtime in leagues is wasteful. Even the LEC, you kind of lose track of what's going on in the groups, like in between the first round robin and playoffs. When you have this little meaningless group stage, you kind of lose track of the plot. So there still can be some trimming to the schedule. You know, like we could go literally just have single round robins into playoff brackets, and then have 3 serious international tournaments in a year, and that'd be pretty sick. You know, especially if you're seeing where some of the leagues like LCS or LEC have 2 open slots with rotating teams because of competing underlying teams that get top 2 teams sent up to the big leagues to go with a single round robin and see if you can go to Worlds too. And then maybe you could actually put stuff like the LLA and CB LoL together underneath the LCS. You could put all the ERLs together underneath the LEC and have 8 teams primary, 2 spots additional that rotate with these lower teams, and have this huge actual structure of competitive league that all the way goes up to the international level. And that'd be kind of cool, I think. And it'd be short enough, I think, that you wouldn't like get bored in the middle, which is what happens now.
That also require Riot giving a fuck about their own product.
Yeah, but you know, maybe they will, whenever enough of the people they thought are bought in threaten to pull out. You know, I think Golden Guardians especially should be a wake up call to Riot, because that was
a huge wake up call. Because like
that wasn't
that's an org.
Shit. That was a real thing.
Like that's an org that has an actual NBA team backing them, so they have buku bucks to spend on it. But they were doing it the smart way. They're doing it okay, we're gonna fucking frugal this out and use the resources we have with this organization to kind of cut costs, and doing it the smart way. And when they're like pretty much probably breaking even most seasons, they're like, yeah, no, we're actually done here. We're not even gonna risk like losing another little bit of money on this. Like, that means they have no faith in the future of what Riot is currently doing.
Well, it doesn't help that Riot also created the Valorant structure, and they didn't do a franchise system for Valorant. They did a partnership system. So ultimately,
which is, if the LCS is to survive, that's eventually what it's going to go to, is these franchises are going to end up getting partnered in, and which isn't a bad thing.
And ultimately, Golden Guardians or the Golden State Warriors, pardon me, might feel that they could come back at that time. Oh, you guys are ready to do partnerships, and all it takes is for you guys to like us. Like, we're ready to partner up again. you don't hate us yet.
I just
All these other
hate
teams
that they pulled out, because for me that sends a message to not just Riot fans, other teams, but to other professional sports franchises that might have thought about getting into the space and creating their own team, because you would share a lot of the resources of lawyers and facility, like office space and everything like that. You already have all of that, so you save a ton of money on that already. And
Yeah,
they could have been like, let's get into this space. And Golden State Warriors was the one to really give that a shot. And then pulling out just is going to let everyone else know, don't do this.
Yeah. No, but I think ultimately everyone can expect that the VC money and stuff, the venture capitalists are probably on hold. The investment is definitely drying up. So they have to start playing smarter. And that's what, I think we really got to see what Riot wants to do for these main teams that are trying to work with them and, promote their products ultimately with these esport leagues from various titles. They need to be able to get a cut of the pie, and not only if they win worlds, because like ultimately at the end of the day, like I bet main reason so many of these teams want to win worlds so they can finally have some goddamn revenue share. It's like
and some validity in fans. Like how many people?
I bet all of that is almost completely, because it's all a variable. It's like it's it depends on like what, it's not actualized profit money, but like if you win, you at least get all of that fucking skin money. I bet Faker has made his fucking dimes off of Rise and Zed skins. Freaking Syndra less so, but once this Ari skin comes out, that dude is just going to be there with like a money printing gun and fucking sunglasses made of platinum, just you won't be able to keep up. It's gonna fucking break the game how much they sell that skin when it goes on sale. It will, because all the Korean crazy fanboys are gonna buy it immediately too.
No, I can't remember. I can never remember. My memory is absolute trash when it comes to
They announced the skins. We got Chase, Lee Sin again, Ari,
Jinx.
That's what it was. It was a different
Bard. That Jinx skin's gonna sell like a motherfucker, dude, especially if they do it with like how their jerseys were at Worlds, those fucking black and gold jerseys.
Gumo's like, all right, Faker, you get an Ari skin, fine. Gauntlet thrown. Jinx. Arcane 2's coming out, motherfucker. Get wrecked. He's gonna have the other money gun.
They're giving Jace a prestige also. He's getting it's because he's MVP. That's pretty cool.
I think that's a cool way of doing it with the MVP. Giving them prestige skin. They did the same for Kingen last year with the Aatrox, so yeah, that was last year. The DRX skins are really underwhelming. I'm gonna say that right now. It's honestly really lame skin set. Just white edges and X's. Like, okay, cool. Neat. They don't look like dragons or anything, but I like it. Go ahead.
So
I thought I would get that Kindred skin, but so this Red Bull Invitational. Hopefully they do more invitationals with partners and other people too.
More cool exhibition matches to fill up the off season and stuff, and time between like I want to see time in the LCS, where I want to see a North American invitational thing where they bring pro players and some collegiate teams or some amateur teams, because there's some of those teams where, dude, some of these players should be getting scouted. I've seen some of these matches so far, and even just like in the little ones that I've seen some players have incredible micro and good macro sense at the same time, and it's like I casted the game I casted last week. Isles was playing, so he got picked up out of it.
Yeah,
I mean, he was wasn't he Academy for a little bit?
He played on Golden Guardians for a period of time when they made the Suicide Squad roster. Call it that. Call it the Suicide Squad roster. He was
Yeah.
on the Suicide Squad roster.
But
That
Dardoch
is the
and
best
Valorum
fucking.
are played in that league, and
Mhm.
so I think
No, like, they
uh,
definitely have. We definitely have players.
yeah, we got the talent.
Yeah, I mean,
I just want to see more exhibition matches or more things for to like to showcase talent anyways, at least like having like the top two. I mean of course there's the risk of, oh, the LCS team loses to this amateur team, then they're like, oh man, well, why don't you have this amateur team playing? They're better than them.
yeah, that's why I want to do this rotating league stuff for those two spots in the LCS. I think. 'Cause then we can actually just see if there's anyone who grinds it out hard enough. We can throw it down.
The worst part about the rotating thing in the LCS is that like you have to like if you have a team that's not based in fucking LA, they now have to all move to LA.
We'll see if LA is the spot.
I mean, I hope I think they should move to, like, if pro players want to complain about the fucking ping, like, just move to Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago is much cheaper. Did you watch
It's
the
much
Heretics
cheaper.
T1 game?
Huh?
Did you watch the Heretics T1 game?
I did not. I was about to, and then I just decided to watch Breaking Bad and play TFT all day.
The draft was kind of tragic in some ways, but Flockett actually had a pretty good little Yasuo outplay on Guma. So that team's going to be pretty dangerous in the LEC next year, too.
I liked Flockett in his rookie year. He showed potential. He just wasn't like on par with being a top tier.
Yeah, he wasn't there yet.
Yeah, it was his rookie year, but he showed promise. He showed a ceiling.
I think it'd be fun to see how that team pans out ultimately. Also, from what I saw of like the teams that we don't know for the LEC next year are playing against, freaking T1, might be some angles. I'm sure your EU fans will be riding the high of G2 winning against T1 for a long time at this point, but we'll see how
I've
much
already
of
seen
that
some discords I'm in fucking popping off because I don't go on it. So for those of you watching, he does the I don't think you can see my hand because of the logo. He does the Reddit trolling, and I basically spend a lot of time on Twitter. So
yeah.
He'll bring up the Reddit threads. I'll bring up the Twitter threads. There was something else I wanted to bring up.
Was the
Oh yeah, so I saw this really, really interesting video that was basically saying like the teams in the LCS are kind of complaining that they're not they're not getting enough money, which is why they're doing the budgets this year. And it's the broadcast can only the LCS broadcast itself can only do so much to help them to help these teams build their brand, build up these player storylines. I think the broadcast should do more on getting involved in the players and talking to the players on a personal basis. But that aside, they were talking about how it's the teams have this opportunity with YouTube, with Twitch, with TikTok to really grow their own brand presence and drive revenue outside of sponsorships. Where sure, for example, Broxa is a streamer under Team Liquid's banner.
Mm-hmm.
But Team Liquid themselves don't have like their own Twitch page.
Well, they do, but they don't use it.
They don't use it, yeah. So, for example, instead of having these streamers just stream on their own page, if they want to fly under your banner and you sponsor them, Broxa streams on Team Liquid's League of Legends Twitch channel for so many hours a week.
Yeah, basically.
And actually employ these people instead of just throwing out spot. Instead of just saying like these Team Liquid streamer. And
I'm sure they also get level with revenue, but yeah, I think that most brands do need to really get on this presence of social media and build their brands and make content again. It's something that you used to do back in the day and people actually enjoyed, you know. They still do to a degree, but it's much more marginal. You could do a lot of short form content that isn't high editing costs probably in comparison. I know editing is what eats you alive, but
I mean, there's tons of AI out there that'll do the editing for you, and there's programs that won't break the bank to where you can just pay to have that, like it's a free program, but then it's a watermark it, so you just pay $10 a month to have them remove the watermark, and it cuts and it makes you fucking TikToks. But actually, apparently, Twitch now you can go into the Twitch VOD, and you can create a mobile formatted video out of your Twitch VODs, and you can select the two halves, like the top half, bottom half, of put your camera here, like hover or square here. So the tools are all there. Like the editing for short form content off of Twitch now, because Twitch wants you to, if you put your Twitch VOD on TikTok or on YouTube and you make it a short 60 seconds of your VOD, that's going to bring people to your Twitch channel. That's more money for Twitch. So Twitch is all about that life.
Yeah, you should be building the stream presence. I think doing a schedule of the streamers that stream for your team on your channel would be a pretty good idea.
Yeah, it would be I'm surprised that that's not what they do. I know Matches the Gathering streamer, Crokeys. He is a Team Liquid sponsored streamer, but he just streams on his own channel. Like you could have Crokeys one day, Broxa the next day, or even just like a few hours if they're in different time zones. You could, if you're a team and you have streamers that fill up all these gaps, you could have a Twitch channel that has 24/7 content on it.
They're nearly enough, that's the thing. Even if it's just a solid broadcasting schedule that's not, it's easy for different audiences to hit, basically. And ultimately, while teams do make, a portion of the stream revenue of sponsored people, they could make all of the revenue that their own channel brought in and the advertisements they could sell there through. And yeah, I feel like ultimately how many you get, like a dozen or 16 high name streamers, and that's probably enough to carry you through an entire week with still only mild, if it's still only 2 hours per person, that's still 32 hours. So if it's 3 hours per person, you're talking about 48. That's 50 hours a week of solid content. That's totally doable, even if you don't have, and if you're actually doing other things with your channel on weekends, you effectively filled the week with 10 hours.
Yeah, you could have your fucking Counter-Strike team or your League of Legends team go on there and have a Q&A sesh on there with
things like that. They're probably harder to pull off reliably, because I think that content would have mix.
Yeah, but like once a month or before the season starts, there'd be a reason for people to another reason for people to tune in. You can always show reruns.
I think reruns sounds good. They could just do rerun through. Like what they really should do is do shit if it's on Liquid specifically, go to one of their old years of content, like the behind the scenes, and run through it and just invite somebody back to talk about it. Somebody who was there that year, and could do plenty of different things if you wanted to fill time. But I think
you could even have
issue is some of these people will cost money, just have a few hours at a time too, depending on stuff like that specifically.
But some of these people, it's their job already. You have a community manager. If you have an org like that, you have a content manager. And you could even have your community manager and your content manager just go out there and talk to fans for a few hours.
They need to do something for sure and approach the concept. I feel like even obviously you're not going to pay for a League of Legends team and its operating costs on TikTok, but you can definitely start making it dense with all of these different forms of revenue.
No, it starts adding up. It starts adding
Yeah,
up.
yeah. I'm just saying these things out loud for the sake of our.
And also,
you know,
if you want to get more fans, like where are the fans? Like if you want young new people to come and find your brand, obviously on fucking TikTok. Like YouTube
Honestly,
shorts are decently well, but if you make something for TikTok, you can upload the exact same formatted video to YouTube Shorts.
honestly, I think it's tough to find new fans. I think at this point, especially with talking about League of Legends esports, just because the ship has mildly sailed, at least in North America, as far as like not many younger people are picking up the game, so to speak.
That's because and that's partially because of how
holds.
fucking toxic it is in this country to play this fucking game.
Well, yeah, I mean,
It's
expecting a bunch of individuals who are mostly all delusioned and entitled to admit they've made mistakes or have let people down around them seems to be quite the struggle for some reason.
yeah, but a game like Valorant, which has voice chat, is huge, blowing up.
Oh yeah, it's just shooters though too. I think that is something that is worth the comment. Like the RTS genre and style is not as appealing to the Gen Pop as an FPS at the end of the day. StarCraft, for all its popularity and fandom, is not quite Halo in North America.
Yeah, but we're not talking about an RTS. We're talking about a MOBA. We're not talking.
Yeah, but it's the game style. Like you can't play
Look at
WASD.
Diablo 4. Diablo 4 was an isometric. We're not going to talk about what happened after Diablo 4's release. Okay. But we're going to talk about Diablo 4 being also an isometric, top down, click to move, like have your QWER buttons on your keyboard and you press those, and that game blew the fuck up. Partially because it also was played on console. They did the console
Good marketing. They did good marketing.
They had great marketing, and the only reason why I'm not playing it right now is because I'm fully addicted to League of Legends. But
I think ultimately I'd still say the skill, demand for League is just immensely higher.
it's huge. I mean, but it's also huge for Valorant too. I mean, it's click on head, but it's also learn these recoil patterns and learn
for sure.
your positionings. It's CS:GO meets Overwatch, so then you have to learn all the agents in the game. Like, but it's just being good at Valorant has a fucking ceiling on it.
Oh yeah. I'm not here to discredit like the skill ceilings of CS:GO and Valorant. I can't play CS:GO. I'm fucking ass at CS:GO. I've got no problem saying it. The skill does not translate, but I think that's the biggest thing is they're completely different skill sets. And I think a lot of gamers, especially younger gamers today, grew up more being hardcore in FPSs in general because they were playing Halo, they were playing Call of Duty.
I mean,
I grew up being hardcore on, but I grew up on hardcore. I played StarCraft and Warcraft 2 a lot when I was a kid. Like those were the games I played more. I played that shit more than I played GoldenEye, and I was of the era of GoldenEye. I fucking love GoldenEye, great game. But
I came from
RTSs.
Like my first competitive thing was I was playing in CS 1.6 tournaments and Battlefield 1942 tournaments, and then I went into Call of Duty 4 and then Modern Warfare 2. Like I am that shooter that just like.
And I think that's kind of a more natural progression for most gamers today, and I think that's just the more common route. I just know that I am a little bit more of a variance because I've had this conversation with my friends before too, because just knowing people when I try to get them into like League, they all tell me like, oh well, it's it's kind of just hard to play because it's not natural to me, and I like that immediately to me is like, oh that's weird. Like I loved fucking Warcraft 3 when that came out. That's one of my favorite games of all time. So the top down, right click, APM, all of these things are still normal muscle memory to me. And I think not everyone has that as easily when they come to League, and they just don't want to get over the hump of, putting 3 years into doing this until your hands do it well. Because it's just completely different,
Yeah, I
swinging the mouse around and clicking. It's a different kind of accuracy.
With Fortnite out there and everything, but I think there's still the opportunity to show people the game
Yeah.
Like especially if you're a team, like you need to be actively trying to convince more people that your game is worth watching. Otherwise, like,
sadly, Riot fucked up their whole high school initiative thing that they were starting to work on because they partnered with some, typical grifter in the scene. So that could have been a very interesting concept as far as like validating esports further and making it not even just collegiate but high school level.
yeah, having esports clubs in high school is like there are some out there. The ones that I see the majority of, it's like Rocket League or Smash Brothers.
Honestly, whatever it takes to start. I get that. Like people like Rocket League, and like ultimately there was that dude who played at the Super Bowl this year who was a Rocket League pro signed by Team Dignitas, the first ever dual athlete at the Super Bowl, and I thought that was actually pretty neat. So, if they're out there and they're playing it, and that's, I think Rocket League it's like that's a good esport to me for some reason. I don't play Rocket League. I played it a little bit when it came out.
I played it a little bit because it was free, so I was like, let's try it out. It's not for me to play. I've watched a little bit of it.
I've watched Pro Rocket League. It's fucking insane.
Hype, dude.
It's so good.
Incredibly hype.
It's so good. I would watch that shit for hours.
The saves these people are making are just like, it's so close. And I don't even like soccer. This is way more exciting than soccer. This is fucking flying cars, man. But this is a League of Legends podcast.
Indeed. And so we are clearly needing more tournaments.
Yeah, we're needing more tournament, needing more tournaments, needing more content by the organization. So I'm not gonna kick the dead horse and be like, just get that content out there. But something that is really cool that G2 is doing. G2 is partnered up with MasterCard to basically you apply to join an esports creator content creator boot camp where you get flown out, all expenses paid, for a week or 2 weeks to work with G2's content creation team and learn all behind the scenes, which is basically just learning production for creating content. But that's a really cool thing to because G2 I think does some of the best social media content stuff out there. They're always having their team take a few minutes to do something funny or just getting some footage of them and making stuff with it to put out there.
Yeah, no, they definitely do their job.
I used to be a Team Liquid fan. I used to be a Team Liquid stan.
But I feel bad for Steve, dude. Honestly, I feel bad for that guy. I think he tried. He gave it the old college try. He's like, oh man, I'm gonna get all the best people. I really am. I'm gonna get the people that know what the fuck they're talking about, and they all just took him for a ride. I feel so bad for him.
He fucking fired Dodo. But yeah, G2 does a great job of it. Like I would say that if I'm a fan of any esports organization, it's G2. I respect and applaud T1 for what they've done. I did try to buy a jersey because I thought it'd be really cool that like to have an owner world championship jersey.
Nah, kid, not even close.
Those shits were sold out so fast.
No way, man. Hell no.
I should. Hell no. So next year, because I do this every year, I'm like, I'm gonna buy a jersey of the world championship winning whatever role I'm in at that time. It's been ADC forever, and I was like, if TL wins Worlds, I'm buying Core JJ jersey.
Dude, I tell you what,
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it beforehand. I'm gonna do it to where my prediction to win Worlds, as my prediction, I'm gonna buy a jersey.
You gotta buy them on release.
Yeah,
I would buy like maybe a Bo jersey if he made it to Worlds, and that's very plausible.
He's probably going to be on a top 3 LEC team this year.
I mean, I hope so. I thought for sure he was going to be on a
Yeah, but he's not on the team with
LEC
Perks
winning.
anymore, so don't worry. Which also, can we just real quick
beat the dead horse?
Perks, this is a message to you. This is your last fucking chance, bud. Last fucking chance. If you don't make it to World this year and make quarterfinals, why are you even still playing? Just fucking quit. Just fucking quit.
Just have a good. Honestly, he just has a good year where he looks like what the name is supposed to mean. Because ultimately, I really don't know how that roster failed last year. There's really no excuses for it.
Dude, because he went fucking cult status like 2 years ago. Fucking started hanging out with some weird religious people, and all of a sudden, all his gameplay went to shit. Like,
well, he rehoned the blade in Korea over Worlds, so hopefully it stays.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wonder Yanko's Perks, Flocked Kaiser. Like if Flocked plays like he did against T1, like that could be a pretty fun team to watch.
I mean,
but ultimately,
Wonder is like a beast.
Yeah, he's a monster.
Yankos is the reason why G2 didn't make quarters this year.
Yeah.
You fucking swap out Yankos and Yike, that team makes it to quarters, and NRG doesn't make it. Like, sorry, Contracts, you played your ass off that fucking series, but you would not have done the same against the jungler that actually knows what the fuck is going on.
NRG did exactly what they needed to do to make the achievement happen. But yeah, holy crap, it was they snuck in there. They snuck in there.
Someone was trying to blame Caps for them not making quarters, like, oh, he's just a scrim king. It was craps all year long. And I'm like, did you watch Yike? I blame Yike.
It's just, yeah, I feel like there were just mistakes. Like they didn't play like G2 played all year ultimately, and that's a problem. I know like BB's had some pretty bad lanes in some of those games, but I think we can spin the wheels on what has and what could be forever and ever, but I think we could probably have that short episode we always promise ourselves to sneak this one in under an hour. We're getting a little tangency already.
Yeah.
There's not too much to talk about. So
my blood pressure's up.
There's so many. Yeah, we talked about gotta take our old man beds now.
All right. Well, hey, everybody, if you've made it this far in, we do want to thank you for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow us on socials, doomyfunky, paradox_pope. This is streamed live on my Twitch, doomfunk. Links will be in the description below. We're also on Spotify. Check it out. Check out Mystic Cat's Twitch as well. I will be streaming their game on Monday. I'll tweet it out, so follow me on those socials. And thank you everybody for stopping by.
Peace.